Tonight, we are just 2 days away from several new laws taking effect here in Georgia.
Joe Henke is breaking down 3 that could impact your children.
In 2017, Max Groover of Roswell headed to Baton Rouge for college, but after attending LSU for only a month, he died of alcohol poisoning in what authorities described as a fraternity hazing ritual. Back here in Georgia, lawmakers this year passed the Max Groover Act, targeting hazing at Georgia universities. By July 1st, the law requires public and private universities and colleges in Georgia to have policies established for reporting, investigating, and offering due process for alleged incidents of hazing involving students and student organizations. Georgia Tech, for example, has created an online system for anonymous reports to be filed and provides a link directly to the Max Groover Act. The second new law taking effect impacting students covers K through 12 education. State law already requires drug and alcohol awareness lessons. By Thursday, the State Board of Education will need to have minimum coursework established, adding tobacco and vapor products to those lessons. It is part of HB 287, a bill directing the Board of Education to also develop human trafficking awareness coursework for 6th through 12th graders. And for teenagers looking to get their driver's license, Joshua's Law is changing the requirements. Under current state law, 17-year-olds are not required to take driver training to get their license, but as of July 1st, a new law will require anyone under 18 to complete training to receive their Class D, also known as provisional license. The required training includes 30 hours of in-classroom or online instruction plus 6 hours of training here behind the wheel. Coming up at 6, I'll highlight 2 new laws taking effect on Thursday impacting public safety.